What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for being here and welcome to a new video. I firmly understand that these audio uploads do not do anywhere near as good as my actual videos where you can see me, but it is what it is. Those of you guys who watch these or listen to them, I appreciate it. I really want to get some stuff across in this video, some important information, so let's tackle it and get right to it. Exercise, you guys, movement. This is essential. But at least in my opinion, what's essential to your exercise program is to elevate it to non-ordinary levels, right? So when you go onto YouTube, when you see all these fitness gurus, all these morons, etc., these teachers, they're doing things on a very base level that only really takes into consideration the lowest forms of the physical plane. You can take any form of exercise for the most part and turn it into a non-ordinary ritual where you're addressing far more than just the physical. And that's when you start to get non-ordinary benefits from an ordinary thing, if that makes sense. You've got to put massive amounts of will and unbending intent into everything that you do if you want to really get more out of the things in life that you're spending your time doing. So, for me, what I personally have found over the years, through much trial and error, experimentation, failures, successes, you name it, is that for me personally, running and resistance training are my two favorites. I enjoy running more, but running doesn't really build the upper body the way that resistance training does. Like, they both have their benefits, but running, you guys, can be a non-ordinary experience, especially if you take the shoes off and you train yourself to be able to have running endurance without shoes. I don't really want to get into the mechanics of why barefoot running is superior in this video. All I'm going to say is that it is, and I know this through much, again, experimentation with both shoed running and barefoot running. Barefoot running is not some stupid fucking hippie science, right? For some weird reason, people, due to habituation of culture, they seem to think that when your shoes are off, you're trying to be some stupid-ass hippie. I can't stand hippies. We take the shoes off because it becomes more efficient. Your landing and your launching mechanics are much better without shoes. You're not wearing a mattress between your foot and the ground. What the hell? There's not even significant amounts of research, you guys, on the benefits of running with shoes. Right? A lot of this is just marketing and trying to make money off of your ass. And you guys, a lot of these shoes, the Nikes, the Adidas, the running shoes, the Reeboks, the Asics, you guys, these are like $100 to $300 or more sometimes. You do realize that these are being made for pennies on the dollar. Do you not realize that? How cheap things are being made? How much you're being ripped off? And I'm not saying that there isn't a time and a place for shoes, because of course there is, you guys, but running in shoes? It is the most unnatural thing and the most difficult thing for my mind to comprehend. Because I'm not like these other people out here, right? That have just bought into this script of, oh, I need shoes by default. Well, why? Our ancestors evolved without shoes, without running in shoes, excuse me. So I'm not saying that we should do everything that our ancestors did, you name it, but I mean, come on, guys, there's significant periods of our history in our genetic lineage where shoes weren't part of the mix. But again, I'm not promoting this whole caveman thing. Oh, your ancestors did this, so they should do that, or so you should. That's not what I'm saying, you guys. All I'm going to say is that when you run in shoes, you are throwing off your landing and launching mechanics 10,000-fold. This is why almost all serious shoed runners within the first year of their running career experience a serious setback in the form of an injury. I've found that running in shoes changes the way that I breathe when I'm out there running. It's much harder for me to breathe. It cinches the vertebral openings. It causes your shoulders to lean forward. It puts massive amounts of strain on your hips, your knees, your feet, you name it, because you're heel striking when you wear shoes. You land with your heel first. It's the most stupid thing I've ever seen. I see people all the time running online. I've seen a few people out here in the middle of nowhere in this part of Virginia running with their shoes on, landing on their heels, and they're all outfitted with their fucking Fitbits and their running trackers and just really getting into the role playing of gadgetry, right? So, resistance training, barefoot running, those are my two programs. Barefoot walking, grounding, you guys. Grounding allows you to get a very potent anti-inflammatory response from the negatively charged electrons that go through your feet meridians when you stand barefoot on the earth. Now couple that with running barefoot on the ground. Again, you guys, most people will spend the majority of their life ungrounded. Ungrounded. Think about that for a minute. Think about it. That is not a made-up thing. Most people will spend the majority of their lives ungrounded, disconnected. And I'm not saying that we should always walk around on the fucking ground barefoot and be dirty and this, that, and the other. That is not what I'm saying. But I am saying that there's an intelligent design to this and that we are actually engineered to come into contact with the earth, which is a giant electron blanket. It's a giant energy donor. Excuse me. So there's a myriad of different ways for you to kickstart yourself into a new paradigm if you choose to do so. But a lot of you guys are lazy as shit. And I'm not pointing my fingers at anyone in particular, I'm speaking to the world at large. A lot of you guys are lazier than fucking shit. And a good portion of it is because of what you eat and how you eat. What you eat and how you eat. You know, I can eat clean, really clean, for 4 months. Let's just hypothetically say 4 months. And then I can ruin that progress in a matter of 2 weeks if I allow myself to spiral. And if I eat too much of the wrong foods after eating very clean, my energy levels will tank, my optimism will tank, my confidence, my anxiety levels will skyrocket, my heartbeat will change. A lot of people have irregular heartbeats and heart palpitations because of the shit that they eat, and the people are getting way too much sodium from all the processed foods, but not enough of the other electrolyte minerals. Like, people are eating way too much fat from the processed foods in tandem with too much sodium. They're not drinking enough. They're lacking minerals. Like, the whole structure of this, you guys, is all out of alignment. But people don't even question any of it. People don't read labels. So I'm not going to go into a different, like 100,000 different ways in which the average person is destroying their health daily without, most of them they don't even know they're doing it. But I mean, come on, guys, you want to get yourself to the point where you can be willing to go at least 6 months on a clean program. If you have to have a cheat day here and there, go for it. But you've got to structure your cheat days so that you don't let it become a cascade effect, like an avalanche effect. Because when you're eating clean for a really long time, you guys, and you suddenly stop and have a cheat day, it can lead to an avalanche effect. You got to get your mind in check so that you don't ruin all your progress, right? So there's, on my system at least, excuse me, I'm continuing to build this system, this health system. And what I've found is that part of the system is like temporary checkpoints where if you need to, if you're following my system, you can have what I call a psychological break from diet fatigue, and you can have not only a cheat day, but if you need to, you can have a series of cheat days, upwards of a month or longer, where you find your maintenance calories so that you don't gain weight, gain fat, and you stay there until all of the pleasure centers in your brain have been satisfied from eating the crap, and then you can get back to the truly healthy system. And I know this sounds really irresponsible to be promoting this or suggesting it. I'm just including it for those who need it, because sometimes people, if they go too fast, or like, diet fatigue is a thing, you guys. Diet fatigue is when you get exhausted from like being very critical about what you eat. And some people need a psychological reset, where they can engage the emotional body and have a cheat day, or a series of them, or a structured period of cheat day, cheat weeks, where again, you find your maintenance caloric range so that you don't gain fat. You just maintain your weight, or you can even cut or create a deficit so you lose weight while eating the crap, and you stay there until you fucking have had enough to the point where you're ready to go back in and slay the dragon, right? This is a long-term system. And let's be real. I mean, there's times where I want a cheat day too, or a series of them. And don't try to tell me, oh, Serpent, that's really irresponsible for you, that you're not promoting health, bro. I am more dialed in than you, most likely. And I'm not pointing my fingers at my subscribers. I'm just saying, don't try to tell me that I'm irresponsible by saying that people can have a cheat day when I am dialed the fuck in. I fucking run at least 10 miles a night, 8 to 10. Lately, it's been at least 10. And now I've bumped it up to 13 to 15. I ran a little over 13 miles last night. I'm supplementing properly. I'm getting better rest than I ever have. And it's because of what I eat, you guys. You know, eating properly will help fix it. I can't say it'll fix everything, but I mean, come on. Come on. And eating the wrong foods and being irresponsible and not exercising, it makes you, like, over a period of time, you guys, it makes every part of you sluggish. And it's very visible to people who are in movement, that people that are like partaking in the game of health. You're very easy to read. I hope that makes sense. It's like just like zombies, right? So you want your mitochondria to work more efficiently? Your cells' engines? Well, clean up your carbohydrate sources. Go 3 months on meat and fruit and venom. The fruit is going to, over a period of time, give your body clean energy, you guys, the likes of which you can't even begin to imagine with all your ring dings, ding dongs, ho-hos, and Fritos. You don't have energy because you don't give your body energy. The body is an organic battery. Yet you just throw shit in it without even thinking about it because you don't care. You're more about like having fun than doing the right thing. You want to get your mitochondria to work more efficiently, then you need to feed your body proper fuel, guys. There's no other way around it. There's no cheat code, which everybody seems to want. You've got to get on the right path, stay on the right path, and continue along the right path with temporary, if you need them, rest stops, where you can engage the old self, let go of rigid dieting, monitoring calories, etc. You can stay there until you're satisfied, and then you can get back on the system. It's that basic. You need to hydrate yourself properly too, guys. Get adequate hydration. I'm sure you can hear the chickens in the background. A lot of people have hunger cravings when in fact they're just really thirsty. But when was the last time you had 16 to 18 ounces of water with properly, like with the electrolyte minerals in their right ratios? Or are you just turning the tap water on and drinking tap water? In order for water to be hydrational, it's got to have electrolytes in it. This is why electrolytes are such a strong pillar of my system, especially if you're exercising. If you're sweating profusely and you're not getting an adequate flow of the electrolytes back into your system in the correct ratio, then guys, like, you're doing devastation to yourself. So the system architects know all of this. They know, for instance, the key importance of electrolytes, but all this stuff is veiled. Like, the most basic knowledge of healing and health has been veiled. So it makes you, like, when you realize that they understand the secrets of the human body, you guys. They know exactly what we need, how we need it, in what ratios, etc. They know what they've done to the Kundalini energy. They know how we can put it or turn it back on. This is like a giant game where you've got to learn through trial and error and your own experimentations. But they've got people so broken where people are afraid to even begin. I don't want to start a healthy way of eating. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work, Tommy? What if it doesn't work, Susie? It's like people are afraid to start even because they're stuck. Fucking truck. They're stuck, guys. And I'm not judging, I'm sympathizing. I think it's horrible. Like, the way that they've done us in is insane. And I want you to get to the point where you can see it the way I see it. And some of you guys, I'm sure you can. You have got to get the 90 essentials back into your system long enough so that you can do some serious repair on the inner, like on the inside, right? So that your brain can be adequately nourished, etc., so that your senses will open up. Food does way more than just feed the body. It opens the mind up because the mind's connected to the health or lack thereof of the organs, the body, etc. So you want to get smarter, you eat better. It's that simple. And in a world like this, a predatory realm, you need to be as smart as you can fucking get. Right? And I'm not talking about smarts by the system standards, which is, oh, look at my IQ. Some of the dumbest people in the world have the highest IQs. IQ does not mean anything to me as a metric at large. You know, I've talked about this in a recent video, and I'm going to lightly bring it up. And I can't really mention what it is I want to say because this is YouTube. But I recently saw a series of articles online, and I dug into them about how high intelligence, high IQ people are the first ones to get a certain procedure, a medical intervention, if you catch my drift. You got to put the pieces together. And it's like, well, so the most intelligent by the system's standards follow the system's advice? Really? So IQ to me is like, that is not an end-all be-all of intelligence, guys. But like, you've got to fucking flood yourself with the right constituents, because that's one of the most direct ways to get healthy. Health is much more than just what you put into your system, but we're a very hands-on kind of organism, right? We've been locked in third density for so long that we're very good at using our hands. We like doing things with our body, things that like we can use, again, we can use our hands, etc. So like diet and nutrition is a very hands-on thing. You've got to weigh stuff, you've got to cut stuff, you've got to prep stuff. You know, it's like you can really engage in the third dimension with health. So it's a great approach to get you started. But what you'll find is as you continue to engage with the physical side of health, the inner world is going to start opening up. And then you can start truly practicing the magic once your mind is a little bit clearer. Because our minds are even filled with so much information, you guys, so much data. We're like all the sifting through Instagram, the reels, the Facebook, like all the shorts on YouTube. It's just a constant inundation of information. And that information has to go somewhere. It just doesn't just go through like in one ear and out the other, in one eye and out the other. It all gets registered and stored, guys. You're a walking amalgam of your experiences. And when you sit on fucking social media all day, that's an experience. You're taking in information. That information is changing opinions that you have about the world, about yourself, you name it. So it's just thousands, trillions of units of information bombing us from every single angle. Most people have no silence. This is a world of noise, you guys. You don't want to always listen to the static. And there's plenty of static. Anyone can take the easy way out. And just be molested by this system from every angle. It's much harder to trot a unique path in life and say, I want some silence. Why is my phone so hot? This iPhone 11 was already pretty... I'm not recording this on my iPhone 11. I'm using a DJI Mic 2 transmitter that John hooked me up with. John, if you're listening, brother, this thing is amazing. Thank you for all the support. But my iPhone 11, I've had this thing for years, and recently it's been on kind of its last leg for a while now, but now the screen's all fucked up. It gets really hot, so I think this thing is still insured. But running really hot right now, and I'm not even using it. So have fun with it, you guys. Have fun with it. You know, just because you go on, like, for instance, the meat, fruit, and venom diet, that doesn't mean that you can't have your, like, your favorite pre-workouts. If you have to have that stuff, just try to keep the carbohydrates on the lower side of things, you guys. You can still have your protein powders when you're just getting started. You can ease into this, you guys, but you've got to be really serious with yourself, because it's really easy to say you're going to ease yourself into a system and not actually get to the point where you're fully integrated, right? So it takes a really serious mind, first and foremost, to get your eyes on the target and stay on the target, because again, this is a world of distractions. It's a soup of all this different data. It's also very easy, you guys, and I'm guilty of this as well, to like start a system, and then you get a lot of traction on the system, and then you find another system or other information, and it's like you kind of let go of your vows to stay on the system that you started, and then you start to integrate pieces of other systems, etc. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but you don't want to just like hop around from like a frog from lily pad to lily pad. That in and of itself can lead to exhaustion, burnout. So on the system that I teach, I promote like high intensity cardio. And if you can't do that right now, I promote the gradual, how would I explain it? The gradual building up of your endurance to the point where you can do high intensity cardio. You need to sweat. We have a lot of stress, and moving the body is one of the greatest ways to get rid of that stress, right? Exercise, losing excess fat, like you're going to become a more efficient machine, right? A much more efficient machine. And I'm not one of these people that promotes like getting huge per se. You know, from all the research that I've looked at, the more muscle that you have on your body, depending, like, how would I explain it? There's a huge promotion right now of like performance enhancing drugs. A lot of the biggest fitness YouTubers, they're on PEDs, performance enhancement drugs, right? And some of these people are talking about longevity. You guys, do you know that performance enhancing drugs like steroids are proven to actually lower your lifespan? But they've got us chasing this ideal. Your average man wants to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if that's your thing, you can do whatever the fuck you want in your life. But if your goal is longevity, you guys, it's actually the people that weigh less that end up living longer. Believe it or not. So I've got a video where I break this apart and show the research. It's actually really fucking interesting. And I'm not saying that you should be this anorexic twig. That's not what I'm saying. But there's an ideal range of like a certain body fat percentage to muscle. And here's the other thing, you guys. In males, testosterone levels are dropping like pretty much by the year at this point. They've dropped significantly over the last 40 years. It's insane. And one of the ways to tank your testosterone as a male is to be obese. You want to like crank your testosterone up, you guys, you better get your sleep dialed in. That's one of the biggest pieces. And you want to lose excess adipose tissue, excess fat. That doesn't mean you have to be rail thin. But typically, the thinner you are, the less body fat that you're carrying as a male, the higher your testosterone can get, as long as your sleep's dialed in and your nutrition. Nutrition plays a huge role. And I'm not one of these people that believe that, like, these pro-testosterone herbs are going to get you high testosterone. It's ridiculous. There's actually not a whole lot of research showing that herbs can crank up your testosterone levels, believe it or not. I'm not saying that they can't have a moderate effect, but like sleep is one of the biggest ones. Sleep. And you've got to move your body. A male with adequate testosterone is going to be an energetic individual. So if your energy's tanked, if you have no energy, you guys, that's a pretty clear sign, at least in my opinion, that your testosterone might be on the lower side of things. So, TRT is another thing that's being like rapidly people are being inundated with information. Males are being like, a lot of these fitness YouTubers, these males, they're on testosterone replacement. And I'm not here to tell you not to do that, but I mean, like, it's crazy how many fitness YouTubers that are males that are on TRT. They don't like talk about the fact that the TRT is what's giving them the results in the gym, why they're so muscular. They'll promote a product that they've private labeled, or they've created a product, and they'll say, "You want results like me? Then buy my herbal mixture." When in fact, the reason why they're jacked as a male is largely the TRT. So we have people like Joe Rogan and all of his buddies and all these. Not a Rogan fan. I'm gonna say that right now, but like they've created a cultural shift in regards to masculinity, and don't try to tell me that they haven't, because the Rogan podcast, I think, is the biggest podcast in the world. I know in the United States, I'm almost positive it is. So there's a lot of males tuning into that, thinking that I want to be like Joe Rogan. Be like yourself. Why do you always have to put your crosshairs on someone else and try to mimic them? You have your own unique qualities, your own unique capabilities, and your own unique gifts that God gave you. But when you're chasing to try to be like someone else, are you really going to be able to hear your calling? So the foundational praxis, if you will, or undercurrent of what I teach is you developing a strong, unbreakable relationship with God. And that's the one thing that they've tried to sever more so than anything else here in this New World Order pigpen land of the bottom feeder scumbucket. They want to separate you from God. And they've succeeded, guys. This is an antichrist system. The antichrist isn't coming. The antichrist is here, and it's already been firmly established. It's an antichrist culture. And it's very easy, growing up in this system without questioning the basic tenets of the system, to get caught in the undertow of this antichrist system. Do you see what I'm saying? So health isn't just a matter of what you put into your body, it's how well you can listen. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about how well you can listen to what's going on in your mind, because your mind is inundated. It's been inundated. It's full of noise. It's full of other people's opinions. It's full of data. We've been taught to think through the languages that we've learned. Imagine what it would be like to grow up without ever learning a language, how much different you'd interpret things. You would interpret the world through your eyes much differently, through your senses, etc. But you define the world through the definitions that you've been given on how to define it. Does that make sense? So we interpret the world through definitions, and those definitions have been handed to us. I hope that makes sense, because that's a really pivotal thing. You've got to learn to listen to what's going on in your mind. Because if you do truly listen to what's going on in your mind, and you can do this easily through utilizing the 4 inner exercises, links in the description box below to learn how to do them. If you do the 4 inner exercises, you'll be able to listen to the contents of your own mind. Your mind is like a cup that's been full of fluid, or filled with fluid. That fluid came from an external source, aka the world around you. The world around you is in a broken, fallen state. You've been filled with erroneous, meaningless information, definitions, etc. And we take all this data and we use it to create a belief system about the world and about ourselves. So a psychological revamping through radical self-honesty is a really important, critical piece to what I teach. I promote radical self-honesty and deep self-introspection. Man. So to kind of dovetail into something else, sleep is a really important piece to all of this, you guys. You've got to get your sleep dialed in. I sleep now between 8 and 10 hours. I'm also exercising. Again, I run 8 to 10 miles a night, pretty much minimum. So when I do fall asleep, I fucking sleep. And lately I've been utilizing, once again, the Amanita protocols. I'm not going to talk about this now, but that can really help with sleep. But I'm not suggesting that anyone just haphazardly utilize Amanita muscaria. No. But there are a multitude of ways to begin getting better, more restful sleep. The amino acid glycine is one of the easiest ways to start getting deeper sleep. I have a handful of videos about utilizing glycine, a simple amino acid, right? Glycine is going to help lower your cortisol levels. It's going to help reduce stress hormone. We're all like way overstressed, you guys. We're like a vehicle that's been running without motor oil, and like the tank's almost out of gas. So we've got to fill the gas up, change the oil, change the spark plugs. You got to start looking at things symbolically like that. The body is a machine. It's an organic battery. It requires maintenance just like a vehicle, but most people care more about their vehicle's health than they do their own health, which is why they have no adequate range of motion. They're not limber. They can't run around the block without getting winded. We got some problems here. Running is one of the easiest ways to start benefiting your psychology. It's one of the greatest ways to start problem solving, to start rebuilding the quality of your mind so that you can have more confidence, less anxiety, you name it. But again, so many people hear these messages, I don't want to run, bro, it's too stressful. I'd rather walk. Walking, you guys, is great, especially if you're walking without shoes, grounded, but it's very difficult to get in good shape by walking. And there's plenty of research to verify what I just said. If you're very overweight, 300-400 pounds or more, walking can get you much leaner because, again, you're walking with hundreds of pounds of excess fat on your chassis. So that's a pretty stressful thing. And it's the stress of exercise that gets rid of the fat reserves, right? So if you're really overweight, walking can absolutely help you lose weight. But when you get down to a certain, like a lower body fat percentage, it's very difficult to get leaner by walking, you guys. By walking alone. I walk every day. There's many benefits to walking, but I don't walk to lose weight or to gain muscle, etc. Walking gets way too much credit as like some superior exercise. And again, I'm not saying that it's not good, but if you want to start like losing fat once you get down to a certain body fat percentage where it's difficult to lose fat, you've got to sweat, you've got to move, and you want to be in a caloric deficit. That deficit needs to be dialed in like immaculately based on your body type, your activity level, what your maintenance calories are so that you don't gain or lose weight. There's all these things that need to be taken into consideration, but you can do it. You can get a lot done in a day, guys. Start planning for your future. If you're stuck in this mental fucking haze where you're just depressed and miserable, I don't want you to stay there. You can change all of it, you guys. You can change all of it. And I know deep down that's what you want. You want to feel better. You want to have more energy. You want to be in shape again. So what's stopping you other than yourself? Well, the problem, guys, is that, again, like I said earlier, we're full of fucking data. We are filled to the brim with nonsensical shit, beliefs, etc. And it has a lot to do with how this culture's been engineered. It's an antichrist culture, guys. When are you going to get that? And by living in this antichrist culture, you take on qualities of the sinful world. I've said it in many of my videos. I'm going to say it again. Because repetition of a message constitutes mental programming. You are not born in sin. Right? You're born into a sinful world. You're born innocent, pure. No programming. But as you develop and grow in this system and you get older, you take on characteristics of this broken, out of alignment, sinful world. Excuse me. And before you know it, like that purity, where you used to have an imagination when you were younger and you were so optimistic and nothing could get you down, before you know it, that's a faint, distant memory. Many of you guys, especially those that are clairvoyantly inclined, you know what life used to be like when you were younger. That infinite imagination, that infinite optimism, that lust for life. What happened? Well, the candle was snuffed out, or the light was dimmed. The flame. So we want to reinstill the proper fucking, like a velocity, if you will. That's not the right word, but I think you catch my drift. Let me put it this way. We want to increase the luminosity of the flame of the candle of our life. We want to get everything to burn properly. We want to get everything in alignment. We are a multidimensional entity, an organism that exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously. We've been trained to exist in one reality. even though there's almost an infinite amount of realities, not only around us, but we're constantly entering into and out of parallel alternate universes, etc. So this is a hyper complicated shamanic kingdom. And all of the complicated aspects of this incredible holy reality have been reduced to the most basic, and that's cultural engineering. And by reducing the human species to this very base creature, we're now very easily managed. And you couple that cultural engineering with strategic, intentional nutrient deficiency programs like iodine deficiency, and you've got the fucking human species by the balls. Humans are the most gullible, easy to control organism out there, which is such an oxymoron because we have the ability to literally be Christed through Kundalini, where we're literally one with God, no separation. Pleroma, monad consciousness, Sophia consciousness, woven into our genetics, woven into every part of who we are. We are a shamanic being, a multidimensional, omnidimensional, incredible God species. But due to the cultural engineering, due to the manipulation of our genetics, the nanotech, etc., the bad food, we've been turned into a very basic creature, a knuckle-dragging caveman. And when you've entered into the second attention, when you've had glimpses of the third attention, when you've been given downloads as to what we could be, it is the most painful thing to witness, you guys. To see what's happened to the human species. It's remarkable, too. It's fascinating. Like, if you're not aware of the absolute reality of the mind control and the physical control, you're out of your mind. You're not seeing things clearly. You're not aware. I promote radical self-awareness. And the first thing that we do or utilize to become more aware, you guys, is we have to introspect. We have to observe the contents of our own mind. And that's not an easy thing to do in this world where we're taught to go, go, go. The closest thing that people will ever utilize in the majority of their life, the closest thing to a meditative state, is like the 5 minutes that people will experience before they fall asleep, where the conscious mind finally loses its stranglehold over every part of our awareness. So we want to intentionally enter into fluid states of introspective consciousness. We have to still or freeze the mind. That's why the 4 inner exercises exist. I'm going to continue to promote these ad nauseum, because these exercises allow you to temporarily freeze the programmatic mind so that you can sit in stillness. You can sit in a state of stillness and observe the moving contents of your mind. There's way too much movement, and thoughts are things. Thoughts require energy. You are burning energy when you have all these thoughts moving through your head. So it's a well-known fact, you guys, that those who have real peace don't have a lot of crap in their minds. Their minds are empty, and that doesn't mean that you're just like this sterile human. It means that you're not a slave to the contents of your mind that have been inoculated into it. I hope that makes sense. So again, you really want to do an inventory of your sleep, because sleeping is one of the easiest ways to begin upgrading your health. You spend 1/3 of your life indoors sleeping. That's a big chunk of time that you can be upgrading in like a standby mode, right? Where you're knocked out. So just because you slept 8 hours doesn't mean you got good sleep, right? There's many factors that affect our sleep, like the wireless systems, etc., all the noise in our houses. And I don't mean like literal noise. I mean like the noise of Wi-Fi, the information of Wi-Fi constantly hitting the cells. Like right now, and I said this in a recent video, and I've said it before in other videos, there's like 8 different networks that if I had the password to, there's like 8 different wireless networks around me at any time. And I can be inside the house in the furthest room away from the router, etc. And I still have easy access to all these different networks that if I had the password to, I could log in. Right? You think that if it can go through the sheetrock and the insulation of the house, that it can't go through your protoplasm, your flesh? Please. A lot of this is an invisible warfare. It's invisible. It's just like Morpheus says to Neo, I believe in the first Matrix film. In fact, I know it is. That you exist in a prison that you cannot see, touch, taste, hear, or feel. A prison for your mind. There's all sorts of invisible stuff happening around us that's affecting us. So, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you're such a fear monger. Listen to the way you talk about all this stuff. Well, I'm pissed, guys. I'm pissed because I know what's in store for us if we can get on track. So, start moving. Start walking. Start getting your heart rate up. Clean up your diet. What are you waiting for? I'm going to wrap this one up. Until next time, guys, peace be with you all.